stand here and you can bring your friends or who you brought with you. This is a City of Yakima proclamation for Giving Tuesday. Whereas Giving Tuesday was established as a national day of giving on the Tuesday following Thanksgiving, and whereas Giving Tuesday is a celebration of philanthropy and volunteerism where people give whatever they are able to give, and whereas Giving Tuesday is a day where citizens work together to share commitments, rally for favorite causes, build a stronger community, and think about other people, and whereas it is fitting and proper on Giving Tuesday and on every day to recognize the tremendous impact of philanthropy, volunteerism, and community service in the City of Yakima, and whereas Giving Tuesday is an opportunity to encourage citizens to serve others throughout the holiday season and during other times of the year, now therefore I, Micah Colley, Mayor of the City of Yakima, on behalf of the Yakima City Council, do hereby proclaim December 2nd, 2014 as Giving Tuesday in the City of Yakima and encourage all citizens to join together and give back to our community in any way that's personally meaningful to them. Dated the second day of December, 2014.
Thank you.
Yes. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Tyler Edwards. I work for Treetop, and Jennifer, Emily, and I here are part of Leadership Yakima. And we wanted to just bring attention to Giving Tuesday to the people of Yakima. It's kind of a well-known national event, and we're just kind of trying to raise awareness and encourage people to give back to their local charities and anyone in need. So
Appreciate
it's kind of the short and sweet version.
Yeah, anything else you guys want to say?
Go ahead.
How's Leadership Yakima going?
It's going great.
All
We're
right.
enjoying it. So we're part of a group, and this is
Something
hopefully,
you've latched onto and...
yeah, part of our project, but not the end all be all of our project.
Well, I also want to encourage for next year that, as I've seen, if you're on social media or otherwise, it's pretty much out there that people are talking about what they like to give to, and whether it's $5 or $500, that you just do what you can on this day, and it makes a big impact throughout this next season, which is
Right.
obviously important for those that need it. So come shake our hands and accept this proclamation.
Thank you.
Next, we have item 3B, which is recognition of city staff and our private contracting partners for their outstanding repair of Yakima Avenue. And Debbie Cook, welcome.
Hi, good evening. It's not often that when we have an emergency, we're actually able to make a positive impression out of it, but I think we did this time. As you're all aware, on Saturday, October 25th, at about 5 in the morning, we had a line break, an 8-inch line break on Yakima Avenue and First Street. Our fire department was called out, actually. We found out about it because the fire department was called out because of a low pressure alarm at the Wells Fargo Bank. And basically what that call out said was, hey, we don't have enough pressure in our system to be able to respond, for the sprinklers to go off in a fire, so come help us. And the fire department showed up and found water all over the street. We had an old 8-inch water line on the north side of the street that broke. The city water department was notified immediately, of course, and within an hour that line was shut down. Just as a note of interest, that about 3,000 gallons a minute for about an hour, that water line poured out just about enough water to fill City Hall to about 2 feet. Now that doesn't seem like a lot of water, except at the pressure it was coming out, it did a dandy job of destroying everything it could reach, the infrastructure, our sidewalk, our streets, the subbase, and of course the line itself, as well as flooding the adjacent buildings to a little bit, certainly not to 2 feet. By 9:30, the crews, the water division crews had mobilized and were starting repair and cleanup. The water was restored to the surrounding businesses by late afternoon. Over the next 2 weeks, through a patch of less than ideal weather, that was really our first touch of winter, those 2 weeks. Through less than ideal weather, the business of correcting, assessing and getting bids for the work, and repairing the street and the water line was actually completed. It's to the engineering group's credit that even though we aren't required under an emergency to get bids for work because it's an emergency, we went out and we found the time we actually rushed the bids so that both pieces of work that private contractors did were bid, so we were confident we had good cost prices with them. The road was reopened on Monday the 10th, November 10th, just 17 days after the break occurred. I think that the speed in which the work was completed speaks positively not only to the ability of our staff, but also to the good working relationships we maintain with the private contractors. Unfortunately, many of the people involved in this effort couldn't be here tonight. I would like to thank the following folks, though. Yakima Fire and Police for their prompt response, and the efforts to get Yakima Avenue closed down and detour traffic so we didn't have any pedestrian or vehicular problems, as opposed to, we could have easily had injuries or damage to personal vehicles, and we did not. Dave Brown, who'll say a few words in a few minutes, and the City Water Division for quickly shutting that main down and getting the temporary repair in place so that the surrounding businesses could open at their scheduled times. Nobody had to close because of lack of water that day. Brett Sheffield, Bruce Floyd, and Tim Daniels, and the rest of the engineering division for assessing the damage, scoping the repairs, getting the work bid, and inspecting the work. Darren Langang and Langang Excavating for executing the water line replacement. Victor Bohannon and Columbia Asphalt for repairing the street. The City Streets Division for assisting in finding traffic control signs and barricades, which was a little bit of a trick, and laying down the final striping so we could get that road reopened in time for the Veterans Day Parade, which was a big, that was important to us. And last but never least, a special thanks to Randy Beeler and Callie Price for keeping accurate and timely information flowing both internally so that all of you guys knew what was going on, and externally so the public wasn't surprised. A job well done to all.
Yeah, appreciate your work, Dave. You got something on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to say thanks to our crew, Emilio's crew, that really did that. Emilio and I both were there during the break, but we just kind of stood around with our hands in our pocket. We have an excellent crew. They knew what to do, and they got the job done in pretty short order.
Just to prevent government stereotypes.
Yeah, right. Were you on the payroll then, Dave?
Is Dave, as a good leader, doesn't have to be out there. The crew's got it handled. He chose to get up and make sure everything is going good and interface.
That's right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, he was not leaning on his
I know.
And we interacted with the businesses there. It was only 3 businesses that were affected without a water, and we talked to them, and the San Diego's didn't open until 5, so we didn't interrupt them. 2 businesses were empty. Unfortunately, we have some empty storefronts on Yakima Avenue, but it worked out pretty well. Thanks.
Anything,
Thank
Amelia,
you.
you want to say?
Good job, Neil.
Thank you, crew.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the crew. Staff did a great job. I showed up about 8 o'clock, and by that time they were already there assessing the situation. They had it all shut down. They were doing the cleanup and excavating by the time I showed up. So the response was prompt. I mean, there's no way for us to tell when the water main's blowing unless, like I said, the fire department is usually the first one to respond because they get the call. But I'd like to recognize the whole water division and irrigation division for our efforts and their efforts in getting this accomplished.
Great, Maureen.
I have a question. That section of pipe, if I recall from the news, it was old piping, is that correct?
Correct.
Is it connected to old piping farther down the road?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, from about 9th Avenue to 32nd.
Really?
9th Street.
No.
9th
Wood.
Street.
9th Street.
Yeah,
It changes at 9th.
it changes the 9th Street.
Timely. with
There's
the-
there's miles and miles of that old cast
So
iron
is
water
that
main
something we
in
just
town.
have to keep?
It's just something you have to just keep changing. Our next big project will be North 1st Street. When we do that, there'll be old mains that'll be taken out of service and new ones put in.
Perfect.
It just, where does all that money come from?
Yeah.
And,
all right.
and that's exactly why we replaced the entire line for the length of First, for the length of that block between First and Second. Because if one piece had gone, we were afraid the next piece
Sure.
would go in the next piece. We didn't just want to keep putting Band-Aids on it.
Yep. Great
Well,
job.
appreciate
Thank
all
you.
levels of response. I know that you guys have families, and when you get the call like this, you got to get up and go. And the fact that you always respond every time, no matter what the case is, and get it done, especially this amount of time, is impressive. So, on behalf of us, as you're heading into the holiday season. Thank you, and hopefully no breaks during the Christmas time.
That was number 3.
That was
for the
number 3 for the year,
next
so hopefully they come in 3, so hopefully that was it.
Okay.
Third break for the year.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Sleep soundly.
We don't have any council reports. I'll move us